Alright, YouTube, it's been a few days. We're back. We're talking FF7, we're talking Rebirth. Obviously, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth has been out for a couple days at this point. I figured we'd get on here and just kind of do like a sort of kind of early reviews type of thing, just kind of get my thoughts on the game. Something we've done before with like Final Fantasy 16, where I think with that video I was like 12 hours into the game or some shit and just want to give my like thoughts and opinions on the game. Kind of the same thing here. At this point when it comes to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I'm currently 16 hours into the game. There's both a lot of time and kind of not a lot of time. I haven't actually been no-lifing the game as much as I thought I would. Like, in my mind, the game was going to drop and I'm just going to be playing this shit as much as I possibly can. And I'm not, and that's not a negative. It's nothing to do with the game being bad by any stretch of the imagination, because it isn't. It's absolutely perfect for the most part. I have like one negative thing to say about the game. I just haven't been like playing it non-stop like I thought it would. But that negative thing is by itself actually a positive, which is what's kind of weird. It's both a good thing and a bad thing. It's just that there's just too much to do. Like, there's just so much to do at all when you get to a new area. That's why I'm 16 hours in and I'm only at Junon. I'm like right where the second demo picks up, essentially, like coming out of Mithril Mine and going to like under Junon to fight Bottom Swell. I haven't done the Bottom Swell under Junon stuff yet. But when you come out of the Mithril Mine, the Junon area, if you haven't played Rebirth or haven't watched somebody play Rebirth, the Junon area is so fucking much bigger than what the Junon demo showed us. Like, it is so many times over bigger than that area that we got to explore. And just completing everything in like the Junon area, completing everything in the Grasslands area, which is, you know, the Calm area or whatever. It's taken me 16 hours at this point, and that's like not much story. Like, I haven't progressed the story that much, right? It's coming out of Calm, going to Chocobo Farm, getting a Chocobo, going through the swamp, coming out of Mithril Mine, and that's where I'm at. That's like all I've done of the FF7 story so far, but I'm like 16 hours in. In terms of like story stuff, no spoilers, of course. We have some wild shit that happens at the very beginning of the game, which we'd heard about from people that got to play the, like a 4-hour like embargo, the whole thing, whatever. We knew something crazy was happening very early in the game, and it absolutely does. And then like the only other thing that's kind of wild and kind of out of the norm is once you get to the swamp area. I won't even go into context of that, but like what happens there is pretty crazy compared to like the OG game and stuff like that. I thought it was really interesting. But besides that, it's just the FF7 story so far. Now, of course, the world intel shit, discovering everything on the map, all that other stuff is absolutely optional. You can do it anytime. You could just speedrun the story if you wanted to. Get to like the last chapter and like fast travel back to the beginning, like Grasslands area, and then go and do everything if you wanted to. Or chapter select, finish the game, chapter select, to go do everything if you want to. Whatever, right? You don't have to do the world intel shit. But I am kind of a completionist when it comes to games. I don't necessarily 100% games when I play them all the time, or platinum games when I play them all the time. But I try to do everything I can, generally speaking, especially in RPGs, before I progress the story. And it's taken me a long time. Also, part of why I do it, of course, is that you like get a bunch of shit out of it. You level up as you go. You get more summons, more materia, more gear, more crafting like options and items and things like that. Like, there's just so much benefit to doing it, which is why I want to do it. But it's also like kind of halting the progression through the story. Actually, speaking of 16 earlier, that's something I think I complained about in that video. There's something kind of similar where like once you progress like part of the story for 16, it would open up like side quests, and you'd be there for like hours, like 2, 3, 4, 5 hours sometimes, doing side quests if you wanted to do them before progressing the story. And it's kind of the same thing here. You get to a new area, there's all that world intel to do. There's so fucking many things, and the areas are absolutely massive that it just takes hours and hours to complete if you want to complete them before progressing the story. Of course, as I said previously, this is also a positive because it's what I wanted. I wanted there to be big areas and a lot to find and explore, and they are massive areas. Just the two that I've been to so far are so big, man. Like, they're so much bigger than I could have even imagined. And the Junon area is definitely my favorite out of the two so far. Like, I just love like the aesthetic of it, but also I love the mountain chocobos to be able to climb the walls, and you can go so far up like a mountain. I remember at one point I was just kind of exploring, doing the world intel stuff, and I pulled up the map and was kind of looking around, and I'd seen how far I discovered north, like the Fog of War shit, and then I just kept going up and up and up and up. Like, there's all this like fogged out area to the north that I could move the cursor to, and I'm like, how the hell do I get up there? And you absolutely can. You go so goddamn far north, man, and just climb these mountains and shit, and it's just so damn fun, so much more than I could have ever imagined. Like the sunken ships you see in the trailers, you can go explore a lot of those and stuff, and there's like hidden areas. There's like a treasure cove you can come to. Obviously you can't grab the treasure, but I think you find like a treasure chest there or something like that. There's all kinds of just cool shit to discover when you actually want to put in the like effort to explore the map and stuff. I will say though, unfortunately so far, out of the two areas that I've 100% explored essentially, there's not been any like cool secrets. Like, I was hoping to like come across like a secret cave and there's like a treasure chest and here's like some crazy materia or weapon or something like that. You don't really get that. Like, you get to an area that has treasure chests and it'll like tell you in the corner, it's like a sunken ship, and it'll say like 0 out of 3 treasure chests, and so you know how many treasure chests to find, and they're just generic items usually, like some grenades or some high potions or something, and that's just a little underwhelming. Maybe that'll change later on in other areas, but as of right now, you haven't really found any good secrets yet. Actually, I guess another kind of negative, if you want to call it that, for the game is I'm not a big fan of like the weapon progression shit. I don't even entirely like it or understand how it works. Like, you level up your weapons by like getting the SPs you level up and shit, and then it unlocks like other abilities for it. But you can only, like, for most of the weapons, at least right now, you can only equip like one ability at a time. There's like, I think Aerith right now for me is the only one that has both her rods can equip 2 weapon abilities. It's just kind of weird. I just preferred the weapon core system from Remake. I thought it was better. Plus, like, as you unlock everything in that, you had it all, right? Like, you unlock stats and shit, obviously, but also like there'd be abilities like Trade Off or Blood Siphon or whatever they were called. But like, you had those, all of them. You have to pick and choose abilities, and like getting to pick and choose abilities does promote like playthroughs and loadouts and stuff like that, which is cool. It's a cool idea there, but I mean, I'm like level 25 almost with all my characters, and I don't know exactly what level my weapons are, but most of them can only equip one ability at a time. Though I do like the folio system, like the skill tree essentially. Like, it's pretty cool that you can like unlock specific abilities and upgrade specific abilities and stuff for characters. Obviously there's the synergy stuff too. But like, just for example, like I use Baird a lot, and there's just like abilities you can unlock to like make his overcharge, his like triangle attack do more damage, but also like fill up faster and things like that. And it's just kind of cool. I think so far, at least where I'm at, there's not any like crazy materia yet, but I do like some of the stuff that's available. Like, all the auto stuff is fantastic, like the auto cast and all that other shit. Auto unique ability is a pretty cool one that I have on Tifa, where she'll do her unbridled strength when I'm not controlling her. So like that way, like AI Tifa's over here still fucking shit up. Like, I like that stuff. I also like the multi-magic ones, of course, like, you know, fire and ice or whatever, fire thunder, whatever the combinations they have in the game. Like, those are cool. Obviously, those save materia slots. Instead of doing like an individual fire materia, an individual ice materia, there's one materia that has both. Absolutely love that shit. A nice quality of life improvement for sure. Even though I did talk about it being a bit of a negative, I absolutely love all the shit to do in the game. All the weird, quirky shit. The proto relic stuff is the 2 that I've done so far in the Grasslands area and the Junon area. The quests that were there were pretty good. All the little mini games of like catching the chocobos, and even some of the proto relic stuff has mini games. And then like the Moogle houses and shit, having to like catch all the little kid Moogles. It's all been pretty great so far. There's a lot of good humor in this game, and it's what I wanted from Rebirth, because like Remake was great, but it's very like kind of grounded for the most part. There's obviously funny moments in the game, but they didn't lean into like the weird, crazy shit from original FF7, and that's what this game's doing for sure, and I absolutely love it. I want to say, though, we'll put up a spoiler warning just in case you haven't played the game. This is just about the proto-relic stuff, so it's not main story stuff. But the Junon area, like, story was so great, because you get to play Fort Condor again from the intermission DLC or whatever. I don't know if we knew that we got to do that. I know we've seen our characters in, like, the blocky, like, OG kind of PS1 look or whatever, and maybe we had gameplay of it, I don't recall, but that kind of surprised me a little bit. But the story there was pretty interesting, where it's like Gilgamesh is like bringing the Fort Condor pieces to life and shit, and they're aware of it. They're aware that they were just pieces on a board, but now that they have life because of Gilgamesh, and they're like self-aware and shit. And it's like kind of the story there was interesting. I can't wait to get like more into the proto stuff and the Gilgamesh stuff, and also the couple interactions we had of like Cloud and Gilgamesh have been pretty good, because Gilgamesh is obviously a really wacky character, and like him trying to like fight Cloud a little bit, and Cloud's just like brushing him off or whatever, and like him running away scared at the end of the one I just did. It was pretty funny. So I can't wait to see more of their interactions. Something I could throw in here towards the end of the video as we're trying to wrap it up here is, I'm not sure how I feel about the affection system so far, because I think the only thing I've seen that affects it is the side quest. And because I'm trying to complete everything, like, I don't know how it's going to affect the dating scene later on, because every time I get to a new area, I'm going to be doing all the world intel, all the side quests. And every side quest obviously involves at least one character, and like if you complete the side quest, like their character's affection goes up, I believe. I don't know if there's a way to like affected, like, do I have to, like, if I say I want to get Tifa, like, am I gonna have to like avoid every side quest that might involve like Aerith, for example, just to make sure that I get Tifa as the date or something like that? Like, it's gonna kind of suck, because I want to do everything I can in the game, but also I might not get the date that I particularly want for the dating scene. But ultimately, I guess it doesn't necessarily matter. I think that's kind of everything I want to talk about with the video. It's all kind of off the top of the head. I haven't even been taking notes at all while I'm playing. I'm just savoring that playthrough. But I did want to talk about the game a little bit, because it has been a few days now. I think my favorite thing so far with the game is just like the quirky weird shit, the humor of the game. I do like that a lot. And also just exploring. I just love the regions. I loved, you know, even though I do like the Junon area a bit more, the Grasslands area was fantastic. It was cool to like go back to the calm area, but you can actually explore a little bit of the wasteland, the kind of the rocky desert area. Obviously, you can't go to Midgar. Just getting to explore these regions, the environmental storytelling. Like in the Grasslands, you can come across like old tanks. Like Baird actually talks about like the old wars that were here back in the day and shit. And then obviously the Junon area, you have all the destroyed houses. And as you do like side quests in the area, you can talk to like NPCs that talk about the wars back in the day, of like Junon fighting with Shinra and stuff. And it's just kind of cool to get lore, because I don't know if that's like lore we've ever had before. Maybe we did, I don't know. But it's just cool to just like explore FF7 to the degree that we can now, that we never been able to. This, like what I'm playing right now, is what it felt like in my head back in the day playing on PlayStation 1. That's what the world felt like. The world felt this huge, even though it actually wasn't. And there really wasn't that much to find. It was cool for the time, but in comparison, man, like Rebirth is just so good. So I can't wait to finish up this video so I can hop right back into it. It's up there for me, man. It's a fantastic game so far. I'm not even that far into it, and it might already be beating Remake just because of the quality of the game and all the stuff that you can do. It's so much more of a fun gaming experience, if that makes any sense. Remake is special. I love the remake. Absolutely love the game. But Rebirth is just so good, man. Of course, pass off to you guys. If you've played the game so far, if you watched some playthroughs, obviously no spoilers, but what are your thoughts so far for FF7 Rebirth? Anyways, that's the video. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, social networks in the description below. Follow me on Twitter, @davidYT. That's it. Bye.
Used to care what people thought, but now I care more, and nobody out here's got it figured out. So therefore, I've lost all hope of a happy ending, depending on whether or not it's worth it. So insecure, no one's perfect. We spend it with no shame. We blow that like Coltrane. We in here like Rogaine, or leave it like Cobain.